Oh, and this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Coach and Bro Show. We are on Stadium every single Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and repeated at 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Now, this is the first time that me and Vince will be on the air since the busiest weekend in the history of pro wrestling. Now, I don't do the show by myself. As I mentioned, I have a partner who is the greatest writer in the history of pro wrestling, and I can't wait to get his takes on what went down this past weekend on Saturday and Sunday from russosbrand.com, Mr. Vince Russo. Hello, sir. Welcome to your
What is
stadium.
going on, Coach? I've been looking forward to talking about this past weekend. A lot of news regarding both companies, and you are the man to talk about it with, Coach.
That's right. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Logan Paul and Jelly Roll. Do you have that on your bingo card? In about 30 minutes or so, did AEW take a gigantic step forward? And in segment number 4, should current talent listen to current OGs? All of that coming up over the course of the next 60 minutes. Vince, I wanted to start the show by doing our takeaways, what we like, what we didn't like from the weekend. But to me, there was something so big that happened that went above and beyond even that discussion, that pushed it down about 15 minutes. And that is the injury to Seth Rollins, who right now, if there was one male superstar that they would not want to be injured because of being Money in the Bank, because of starting a new faction, because he feuds with 3 or 4 different guys at one time, it would be Seth Rollins. And according to Triple H after the Saturday night's main event, it does, quote, not look good at all. Vince, if it's a torn ACL in the wrestling business, that's a year injury, which would take him past next year's Money in the Bank. I would love your takeaway on Seth Rollins potentially benched for a year.
Coach, I'm going to get myself in trouble again. I like giving you a heads up when I'm going to get myself in trouble. Now, let me first say this.
Okay.
This absolutely sucks for Seth Rollins, and I do feel for Seth Rollins. Coach, you and I know wrestlers have a shelf life. Mm-hmm. And when you take out a year here and a year there, and, Rollins, again, sitting on the sidelines, having to go through rehab, he's done it before. This absolutely sucks for Seth Rollins. I feel for Seth. I really, really do, with all my heart and soul. One thing I could tell you about wrestlers is, man, they want to be in there every single week. And when you sit them on the sidelines and they can't perform, it drives them nuts. But, Coach, I've got to say the other side of this, which I'm going to get lambasted for because not one person has said anything about this, okay? Coach, he injured the knee on a flippy flip. Why can we get back to wrestling? It was a meaning flippity flip off the second rope that meant nothing. And every time, guys, you do the flippity flip and you go up in the air and you're landing on your feet, there is always that chance of just landing wrong. Where, as if we eliminate some of the flippy, Coach, then those odds of freak injuries go down. And I'm telling you, man, the more the talent gets hurt, and there's a laundry list right now at the WWE, I just wish they would start learning from some of these injuries.
It's funny that you bring this up and this angle to start the show, because I was doing Off the Ropes on Sirius Radio on Monday, and Mark Henry was discussing that how when your body is not used to things, or you have a degenerate part of your body, that when you do certain things not very often, you absolutely increase the ability to be injured. Because the WWE or fans who are apologists for this will say, oh, it was a freak thing, you guys are idiots. The Liv situation, the Seth situation, and for a guy who's already had a significant knee injury over a decade ago, when you put a match together, you should be doing things that don't bring that old injury into play. Now, You don't want him to change how he puts together matches, but on those type of moves, that for Seth Rollins, it's way more valuable for him to be in the game, than it is to do a backflip to try to get the crowd to pop. Because for him in particular, Vince, there's only like 4 or 5 guys that have big enough storylines where their value is as much in the storyline as it is in the ring. They may disagree with us, but Vince, I actually agree with you.
And, guys, it blows my mind. And, Coach, we've got to realize a lot, we're older than a lot of people that watch this show. And I understand. I'm older than you. Let me clarify. But we do have a lot of young people watching this show. Yes. And, Coach, when you think about it, when wrestling was wrestling, the only time people really left their feet was to deliver a drop kick. Mm-hmm. That was really the only time they wrestled with wrestling moves. And, now, especially with what Seth had done, we have seen these moves so many times, they mean nothing. And like I said, every time you flip, there's a landing. And every time there's a landing, there's an impact on your knees, there's an impact on your joints, the ACL, the MCL, everything going on in the knee. And I'm just saying, I wish they would start taking these things into consideration. That's all I'm saying.
I said this on one of my shows over the weekend. I said, I defy you to find me a video of The Rock going off the top rope, doing anything like that. You won't find it. Because he was so smart and he knew that if The Rock is injured, The Rock doesn't make money. And every move he would do was safe. And I would say that's not safe, but necessary. And he never left his feet, to your point. But you just used the word impact. This injury, Vince, has an impact on a lot of things. He has Mr. Money in the Bank. How do they use that? How do they have it cashed in? He's a lead or the head of this faction that now has Paul Heyman. How is that going to be affected? From your perspective, how impactful is this injury for the rest of the WWE storylines, creative writers, the whole thing moving towards SummerSlam, which is in less than 3 weeks?
Coach, I think this is a blessing in disguise for the WWE. I'm going to throw a name out there that I know nobody's going to remember, and it was before my time, but one Mr. Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp was the first baseman of the New York Yankees who got injured, and a young rookie by the name of Lou Gehrig stepped in Wally Pipp's place, and Wally Pipp's career was over. This does 2 things. Number one, listen, you can argue with me till the cows come home. I think it is clear that the WWE, with all of the shows and all the programming, it's very much cruise control. There's a lot of wrestling involved. There's a lot of repeated matches. It's cruise control. Well, now with this injury, Coach, it's going to have to cause them to stop, think, and reevaluate. We can't just slide Seth into this slot, yada, yada, yada. Now we actually are going to be challenged, and we have to think, and that's a good thing. And if you're asking me as a former writer, this is where you put Karrion Kross right in that spot. This
as
is
leader or just part of the group?
You pluck Karrion Kross out and you put together a great story that gets him involved in that group. This is the Wally Pipp story, and I'm not saying Seth Rollins is going to be forgotten. Seth Rollins is a great worker, will never be forgotten. No question about that. This is the time to slot Kross in. Brother, put your money where your mouth is. Now we're going to put you in the spotlight. Now we're going to see what you can do.
I think that is absolutely genius. Think about all the different things that you can do. We talk about guys at home because the reason you come to this show is we don't talk about segments on Raw or SmackDown. We talk about the business and storylines and how things can impact for the better, and you make lemons or lemonade out of lemons. That's what they mean. Vince, can you imagine if Seth is kicked out And all of a sudden, he goes on this downward spiral, character-wise, of course. He's 39 years of age. It would make sense. All of the top guys in WWE right now are 39, 40, or older. So what if he's looking at his career through a lens? He gets pulled out. Karrion Kross, who's also close to 40, gets put into that spot. Now, Braun, Bronson, and Karrion could potentially fight for the lead of that group. And Paul Heyman could put them all against each other as if they were like three brothers. Or you could still have Seth do it. You don't want to take Seth out of that group. And remember when you have brothers fighting and it becomes better, they tend to raise the level of their game. Imagine if Braun Breaker and Bronson had to fight for the right to be Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for the WWE that I think they should take advantage of. Take a negative, turn it into the positive. But Coach, now they really got to think. Now they really have to go to work. And I think that's a positive. I don't think that's a negative.
So let me ask you this from your expert writing experience. So Triple H in the press conference announces a gauntlet match for the right to face Gunther at SummerSlam. In the same press conference that he announced that, well, the knee injury to Seth is not so good. Now, would they have announced that gauntlet match if he would not have gotten hurt? Do you think the original plan was what we talked about here on the show, and that is to have Seth be involved in the Gunther Goldberg aftermath, and then everything would have been different come Monday night? But they didn't do that, and we do this show on Mondays. So do you think they made a quick pivot on Saturday because of this injury?
Coach, I want to say one thing based on something you said earlier, because again, you talk about Triple H, who is the head of all this. Mm-hmm. You talked about Rock never leaving his feet. When did Triple H ever leave his feet?
He never did.
He never left. If anybody should know, it should be Triple H. But Coach, no doubt in my mind, I do believe that Seth was going to cash it in. There's no doubt in my mind. They had to call an audible at the end of that match. They had to call an audible for the end of the night. So no doubt in my mind, there was an audible. Now they are dealing with the situation at hand. What I would do with that gauntlet is, how about this? And Coach, this is all off the top of my head now. I didn't even know there was a gauntlet. You told me there was a gauntlet. What about if Cross is in the gauntlet? What about if Breaker and Bronson Reed is in the gauntlet? What about if Cross eliminates the both of them? And that's how we get into the story. This is a tailor-made opportunity for Killer Cross. I am begging, I am hoping, I am pleading that they take advantage of this.
Imagine if, and this is just my diabolical side coming out, because they did it with R-Truth. There's been rumors, and I never read the dirt sheets. We have Dirt Sheet Dan for that. However, what if indeed Karrion Kross's deal was up, and indeed they were in some crazy world going to let him go, and now this spot opens up? It happens all the time in wrestling. Yes. We've seen, I had this opportunity, then you become a star. Karrion Kross is not a newbie. But Vince, sometimes you need an opportunity that you didn't expect or see coming in order to be elevated. And maybe this is that moment for Karrion Kross.
Well, Coach, when you look at that roster up and down, I don't know who else it would be. This is the opportunity to make the guy. And I hope they recognize that in those creative meetings.
All right. Well, do you agree or do you disagree with Vince Russo? So many of you out there said, hey, I can do better. I can write better. I can cut a promo. So guess what, nation? Guess what, audiences that are watching on Stadium right now? You now have the opportunity. All you got to do is follow us at Behind the Turnbuckle, at The Coach Rules, at Coach and Bro, and we have the link up everywhere. And you can come on at the end of a show on Mondays or Thursdays, and you can come on video. And you've got the floor for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, and you can do whatever you want. Tell us we're wrong, argue with us. It's going to be great because we want to be as many, as interactive as possible. So, still to come here on the show, I'm telling you, we got a lot to get to. Plenty more happened over the weekend. How great was Evolution? How great were the women at AEW? Also, should you listen to an OG? We're just getting started. This is the Coach and Bro Show right here, as always, on Stadium. All right, you crazy cats, as we continue our recording, do not forget, any of you that want to have a question or anything like that, super sticker, we'll get to all of them at the end of the show. I see a couple have come through already. All right, segment number 2. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach and Bro Show right here on the Stadium Network. Now, we talked all about the Seth Rollins injury. How will the WWE take that negative and turn it into a possible positive? But, Vince, there were so many other things that happened over the weekend. So I would love your biggest take, because I have maybe I'll start. Some things that surprised me or that I liked from the weekend that had literally over 20 hours of wrestling it was crazy. You know how we always tease about the work rate and the punches being subpar in WWE? I have found somebody that is going to run a seminar on working punches. If I was to give you one guess, one name, who would that person be to run a seminar on a working punch?
Let's go. I'm going to really dig deep here, Coach. Would it be one Jelly Roll, Coach?
Ding. That's what I'm talking about. Are you kidding me, Vince? I didn't know the Jelly Roll had it in him, but this dude legitimately, he's fought in prison before. He was in jail for 15 years. That dude has thrown a punch. That was one of the best working punches. And then as a chicken shit heel, Logan Paul continues to show me he's got more natural talent in his little pinky than most everybody will ever have in the business. He goes back, he tears apart the drums and the all the instruments and does what a chicken shit heel should do. To me, that was one of the best things, not only Friday, but give it up for Jelly Roll. He showed up Saturday night too, and he's one of the busiest guys in all of entertainment. That to me was my number one takeaway from the weekend, which is crazy to say.
Coach, you want to know something funny about that? We kind of fall into the same category as Jelly Roll and Logan Paul, because I'll tell you this. When I was in the ring as a competitor, and Coach, you and I have never discussed this, and I guarantee this was your number one priority. All we were worried about, all I was worried about is whoever I'm in there with, I can't make them look bad. That is all I cared about. When I am in a match with Ric Flair, I know I cannot make this guy look bad. And I guarantee you that's what motivates Logan Paul, and especially Jelly Roll being on the main stage. He's in there with Orton, and I guarantee you when that is the mindset, I can't make my opponent look bad, you're going to step up to the plate. I wish wrestlers would take on that mentality a little bit more, Coach.
I wish that Jelly Roll would call Travis Scott. I wish Jelly Roll would call hell anybody.
Yeah,
it's all the thing I love about what they did is he took moves. Like he took here comes Drew McIntyre, and it looked like he took Jelly Roll's head off. And then he sold for him. That's a shocking new thing in WWE. Selling for that. And then Drew McIntyre gets right in his ear screaming at him. It was great sound. You let the Nat sounds breathe. And then Saturday, even more of that happens. It's just, to me, if you can be so creative with a guy who shows up for 2 nights, why can't we do that with everybody? We got to stop. And the other thing I loved from a writer, I wanted to see if you noticed this. So when Logan Paul came down, and all the jokes he made were basically about what people say about him.
right.
And I was like, this is incredible. Oh, we don't have time for a part-timer. You're not in my ring. You're not going to disrespect me. And I was like, oh, that is fantastic.
Right. Brilliant.
Because that's what all the boys secretly are saying about Logan Paul, who is a better worker than they are right now. That's,
And
that's
you also, you know, nobody's writing for Logan Paul. He's coming up with that promo. He's delivering that promo. And those are the best promos. Why? Because they're believable.
this dude has. If I'm one of the other boys or the girls, I'm looking at him saying, "This is how you do business."
Yeah.
Because Vince, he signs a deal where he is a literally a part-timer. Then he has some great matches. All of a sudden, they're using him a little bit more. Then all of a sudden, he starts putting all the WWE talent on his incredibly popular podcast. He
Right.
then signs a deal with Prime to be one of the main sponsors of Raw and SmackDown. He then, on Monday, they announced that his YouTube show, his YouTube podcast, Impulsive, is now in conjunction, in partnership with, guess who? WWE and Fanatics. But because he's a G, he will not give up his YouTube page. The show will still air there, but co-sponsored by WWE and Fanatics. Translation, he's getting another check for a show that doesn't change.
Yeah.
That's next level.
And here's the one thing, Logan Paul has so much going on. Again, guys, I always talk about the It Factor charisma. He drips charisma, just owns the It Factor. Coach, I didn't realize the size of Logan Paul until like a couple of weeks ago when I saw him standing next to Orton, and he literally is the same size as Randy Orton. And you're looking past that. This is a big dude, and I think we kind of take that for granted.
No doubt about it. And he's going to be a big part of the two-night, we now know it's a tag team match, Logan and Drew, interesting combination, taking on Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. The only question is, what will Jelly Roll's ring attire be for that night? I need him covered up still. I know he's lost 200 pounds, but I'm not ready to see Jelly Roll with his shirt off just yet. That's another 100 pounds from now.
Yes.
Another takeaway. I was shocked. If you would have told me, and the things you could bet on for the Goldberg-Gunther match was the amount of spears, which I think went to the over. It was 2.5. But if I would have bet you on over-under on number of minutes, what would you have bet it would not have gone over that number?
Oh, I would have said 10.
I might have said 7 or 8. It went well. It was like 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I got to give Goldberg a lot of credit. I thought that the psychology of using the knee and the fact that he's limping throughout the entire match was smart. Gunther is one of the few superstars, Vince, that can work that slow. The ending did feel a little clunky to me, bringing in the Sun for absolutely no reason. I do think that they had to pivot with about 5 minutes notice because of what happened to Seth Rollins. I agree with you on that. But I got to give Goldberg a lot of credit for doing the job. And then his speech got cut off on NBC, which sucked, but you could still get it on Peacock if you had it.
Well, Coach, there goes. I was looking for the music for you, Coach. Coach, there goes my little conspiracy theory.
Oh, very interesting. Please.
Are you really going to sit there and tell me, with the years and years of experience, all those in charge at WWE, including Triple H, you mean to tell me that they could not time out the show correctly for Goldberg? Really? Like, Coach, I find that hard to believe, especially when they had time to fill because of what happened with Rollins. You're going to sit here and tell me, oh, they timed the show wrong, so Goldberg couldn't get his whole promo in? Coach, come on.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, I wonder if he was pissed about it. I wonder if he even, I'm sure he knows. That's everybody said, man, what happened to the promo? He had to be pissed about it.
I would be. I would be. But, Coach, I got to say this about Goldberg, which I think is awesome. First of all, he looked like a wrecking machine, number one. Number two, Coach, not everybody gets second chances. And he got the second chance after the match with Taker. He did not want to go out that way. So he made sure that will not happen again. I'm going to go out on my best. And he was committed to it, and he made it happen. And I think that's absolutely awesome because we don't all get second chances like that. Good for him. However, I still think there were maybe a little bit of politics involved when he did not finish that speech on live television.
All right, so you told me the conspiracy theory. Why do you think the conspiracy theory is a thing? And if there's politics going on, Why would he be cut off? I want you to explain that to me. And I'll tell you if I agree.
I still think when it comes to old school wrestlers like Triple H, I still believe it's a WWE, WCW thing. I still believe that. Coach, look at what happened. Look at what happened to Sting. Look at what happened to Sting when he was there.
Vince, did you not see Triple H's IG page? They hugged during the afternoon. You didn't see I think he's ready. That's all Triple H said with the big hug as they were in the ring showing us that this is all worked on in the afternoon to get ready for the evening. You didn't see that, Vince?
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. When there was the hug, did you see the dagger concealed up the sleeve of Triple H? See, you didn't see that part of it. The dagger was going to come out. Coach, listen. If anybody knows this from being in the business, you and I know grudges go on forever. And there is still a WWE, WCW. Let's not forget, yes, it was the NWO, but yes, Goldberg played a huge part in that 83-week run. Huge part. They don't forget things like that, Coach.
And make no mistake about it, when the WCW guys came over, I was there. And when they came over, he did not come over. Why? Because he had 6 million reasons to sit his ass out. And when guys are working 52 weeks a year for way less than that, and he sits out, collects every dime, which all of us would do the same, and then comes back and walks in the door, I think there absolutely was resentment. That's why I was one of the few, Vince, that was willing to spin the ring with him back in the day. I went toe-to-toe with Goldberg, if you do not forget, and I came that close.
Unbelievable.
If not for the toss, if not for the spear, if not for the jackhammer, I may have beaten him.
Tremendous.
I still feel it, Congratulations to Goldberg.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, yes.
You notice how they put the match together? Not to bring up how he damn near killed Undertaker. But there was nothing dangerous in that match with Gunther
that's
whatsoever.
Smart, man. That's absolutely smart. Good.
All right. We are about halfway home here on Stadium. On the other side, did AEW take a giant step forward? Is Tony Storm a generational talent or too vulgar? And should youngsters listen to the OGs of the business right now? This is the fastest growing show in all of wrestling at Stadium at 11 p.m. on Wednesdays. Come on back. We're halfway home. Vince Russo and the coach having a great time. Let's go. Oh, I love doing this show so very much. I see those super stickers starting to come through. Curtain jerkers, whatever Vince calls them now. You have a lot of opinions today. We'll get to those at the end of the show. I promise you. All right, Vince, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right, welcome everybody. Coach and Bro Show here on Stadium. We are here 2 days a week. I encourage you to follow us if you don't already. Subscribe to our BTT Behind the Turnbuckle YouTube page. We have a ton of content all throughout the week. Now, Vince, we've discussed Logan Paul, Jelly Roll, Goldberg. A lot is going on, but all of that was WWE and Evolution on Sunday night. I think we got to give some props to what AEW did in the afternoon. Now, the only
Coach,
negative...
can I just sneak one thing? 30 seconds.
Oh,
30 seconds real quick. Because you asked in the earlier segment about my takeaway from the weekend. Mm-hmm. This was my biggest takeaway from the weekend.
Okay.
The women getting their props. Everybody was putting that pay-per-view over. My Twitter stream was loaded up. Good for you. They delivered, put them on the main stage. Maybe they didn't sell as many tickets as WWE would have liked, but they killed it. Lot of pressure on those women, Coach, and to go out there and get the response that they got, good for them. I'm very, very, very proud of the women in that company.
And we will get to a couple of those matches coming up in about 5 minutes. By the way, the fact that Little Yachty was in attendance at Evolution, that just took it for me from here to here. Do you know who Little Yachty is?
I'm guessing. Let me guess. A rapper.
In the ATL? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Oh my God. There was one rapper that they turned to, they go, and Michael Cole says, and Little Light, and whatever his name was. And
Little light.
he's like looking down, playing with something. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm like, dude. I mean, in the old days, you had a stage manager. You had Big Tommy C. It was
Yes.
like, hey, Little Yachty, or whatever your name is. The camera's going to be on you. When I point to you, you need to pretend like you're enjoying yourself. And
Yes.
it's because now they do so many of them, and then they had the
Yes.
women at Saturday Night's Main Event, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Tony Storm. So I was doing my radio show, and so many people said, hey, it was the match of the night against Mercedes Moné, which I have a hard time even saying because of my disdain for the character that is Mercedes Moné. But they're saying they had the match of the night, so I can give credit where credit is due. But a lot of people, Vince, feel like the fact that she uses the F-bomb, she says a lot of sexualized things. I think her character for adults right now is the best character in all of wrestling. But some people say, well, there's kids, and there's kids at the show, and she says a lot of these vulgar things. Is she just a great character, or do you think Tony Storm is too vulgar right now?
You know, Coach, I was having this discussion on one of my shows the other day by myself, Coach. I was having a discussion.
You were talking to yourself?
Coach, professional wrestling can't be safe. What is professional wrestling based on? It's based on conflict, fighting, danger, testosterone. This is what it's built on. It can't be safe. So do I love what Tony Storm is doing? Absolutely, yes. She's unique. She's different. She's creative. She's walking that edge. And I think we need more of that. Wrestling today, a lot of it, Coach, they're playing it safe. And I understand there's business and there's sponsors and I get all that. But it's wrestling. And we still need wrestling to be a little dangerous.
And to me, when you can, and probably more of this is on the WWE side than AEW right now, but when you have so many companies that want to work with you, then you have them say, listen, we're going to be a little bit edgy. We're now on Netflix, or this is on pay-per-view, or whatever the case be. We're going to be a little bit edgy. And if you program the audience to accept it, just like we did with the Attitude Era or whatever the case might be, because I hosted all those diva searches, and there was a lot of risque stuff. It's funny, though, what I was thinking. You know that saying they say, Vince, oh, that character wouldn't have worked, or that athlete couldn't have played in today's NBA or today's NFL. To me, I feel like Tony Storm's character may not have worked back 20 years ago, because 20 years ago, it was on cable television. You didn't hear any F-bombs. You didn't hear any sexualized stuff. And I think in 2025 with social media and all the things that are going on, I think her character fits perfectly into what is going on right now. The audience just has to be able to say, there's only one of her. There's not like 5 people running around F-bombing everybody. She's unique. And if it's one person, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And also it's controversial, and you do need some controversy in wrestling. I think it's a good thing, Coach.
I absolutely do. So congratulations to the ladies at All In. A couple other things that caught my eye, and I'm a big softy at my heart. I may have heel coach tendencies, but I've always loved personally Dustin Rhodes. And the fact that Adam Cole, for whatever reason, I don't know the injury, but it sounds like it is career ending. And he comes out emotional, no doubt about it. Whenever you don't know what your future is going to be, it's tough, especially in wrestling. But for them to put the TNT title on Dustin Rhodes at his age, in his mid-50s, I think he's 56, 57 years old, a lot of OGs appreciated it. And it was almost like Tony Khan saying, hey, thank you for all that you do around here with the younger guys. Here's one last run. That's how I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, you know, I worked many, many years with Dustin as well. And this was a guy that Coach just always busted his ass, never phoned anything in. You always, regardless of what his character was, you always got the best Dustin Rhodes in that ring. And I think a lot of it was him wanting to do his father proud, which he did. And I thought it was a great moment. I thought it was absolutely great. That is the right guy to do something like that with.
And he'll give you everything he has, and he's completely loyal, and he's just a really good guy. That's what he is. He's a really good guy.
And
That
Coach,
has not been perfect.
it's funny because on the other side of that coin, correct me if I'm wrong. I did watch SmackDown in its entirety on Friday. Coach, is it just me or is Ron Killings in oh by the way already?
He got to win though, Vince. Wins matter.
Oh,
he got to win.
man.
So you're telling me that he already feels like they should have released him when they released him?
Oh, man, we are right back. What are they doing? Can they not tell a story for over 3 weeks? You're going to tell me after all that Ron Killings is now just another wrestler on the card. That's what you're going to tell me. Come on, man.
Vince, the fact that he's on a show that's been limited now to 2 hours shows you how special he is.
Yes.
So it's offensive to me that you would say it used to be 3 hours. I'm very proud of you that you watch all 2 hours of SmackDown. But you're absolutely right. All kidding aside. But this is what happens, and this is why guys over the years that we've seen a million of them, not me, because I was always used in every storyline, but guys that sit on the side and then they say, well, I'm not being used. And that's always so. If you're Ron Killings right now, and that you're walking in, I'm sure he thought, man, they made a mistake. I was front page news. I get to wrestle John Cena. I'm going to be used, and he is an afterthought. He's hey, we need a match halfway through SmackDown to get from B to C, so we'll use Ron Killings.
Well, Coach, listen again. Advice to Triple H, not a knock at Triple H. This is what happens when you listen to the marks. Because they were in an uproar, just like they were in an uproar that Rock replaced Cody at WrestleMania 2 years ago. They're in an uproar, so we bring the guy back. Next time, Triple H, here's what I recommend to you. When the marks are in an uproar, ask them the question, okay, I'm going to bring Ron Killings back. What do I do with them? Get that answer from them. When they say they want Cody Rhodes in the main event and not The Rock, you say, okay, and then what? Ask them that question because that's the thing. You bring the guy in, that's what they wanted, and now he's another guy on the card, Coach.
So, Vince, I've got a very serious question for you then. Are you enjoying the ride?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. Yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
Yes.
Enjoy the ride. That's all you need to know. And speaking of Triple H, you know what we got at Evolution as we close the show? The finger point of doom.
Oh, no.
It happened.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Who was on the
point of doom?
To who?
Naomi.
Oh,
Naomi.
no. Oh.
Your run is over. Your run is over. Now, before the finger point of doom happened, she was the MVP of the night because that no holds barred with Jade was physical. It was nasty. Taking a face plant off the top rope through a table takes guts. And then we forget about her as she comes out and cashes in the Money in the Bank. And so why would Triple H ruin that momentum with the finger point of doom?
Well, Coach, I got a question for you.
Bring it. Was
that an audible because Seth could not cash in the case the night before? Was that an audible?
Oh, I didn't even think about it. It could have been, but it was the reason I didn't think about it is on separate nights, and you feel like maybe people felt like over the weekend. Why can't we have a cash in November? If it doesn't have to be within a month, does it?
Right. No, it doesn't. But I think based on that knockdown drag out that she had with Jade, I think that was an audible.
I do feel bad for her because not only is her career going to be cut short now because of Triple H and the finger point of doom, but there was a spot in that match where she did like a drop down double drop kick to the head of Jade, and she broke there's a TV that's attached to the announce table. It probably runs $700 to $800. Rest assured, they're taking that out of her check.
Oh yeah, Coach. Remember when nobody was allowed to do the mic drop because how much money microphones? What happened? What happened to that? Everybody does the mic drop. Back then, if you dropped a mic, you heard it when you got to the back.
The only one who was allowed to do it was Stone Cold, and he would throw it over his head, and then Mark 58 and would catch you
Would
just
catch
like
it.
he did with
Right, right.
but because he was the only one that would do
Right,
that.
right,
But
right.
now, oh, there's no way TKO is not charging her for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't care about putting your face on the line through a table.
No,
You
no.
broke our TV with
Yeah,
the 8th table spot of the night. So,
yeah.
oh, all right. What a great discussion today.
Yeah, a lot
Uh,
of fun.
yeah, still to come here on the show. There's a lot of OGs that are weighing in about the young talent nowadays, listening to them, not necessarily respecting them, but listening to them. We have a couple of examples. And should the young talent of today reach out to more veterans to get their perspective and help their work rate and psychology? We talk about that on the other side. This is the Coach and Bro Show with Vince Russo and the coach right here on Stadium. All right, you crazy kids, keep those super stickers coming in. We'll do all of them at the end of the show. The super stickers, they get brought right to the front of the line. All right, let's close it out. And by the way, I see the chat is popping. You guys are amazing. A lot of new names in the chat. So thank you to all of you who are brand new, and of course, all of you who find us every single time, 2 times a week. All right, here we go. We close it out. Oh, look at this. Oh, okay. Wow. What a big live number. You guys are amazing. Producer man just told me how many people are watching live. You guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, here we go. Let's close it out. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Coach and Bro Show here on Stadium. What an incredible week still to come. We've got less than 3 weeks until a 2-night SummerSlam. And Vince, a lot of things happened this weekend, and I want to very quickly hit on something because a lot of the OGs, which we are 2 of, they love to weigh in, give their opinions. And Kevin Nash, your boy, kind of put it out there about Stephanie Paquette working small in recent times. And then she basically addressed it, said yes, and tried to perform better at Evolution in that big match that she was in. I was on with Mark Henry on Monday. He talked about Kairi Sane, that a few months ago, she didn't get out of the ring. A respect thing, as we know, when your opponent comes in. He was very vehement about it, talked to her at Evolution. She was like, no, I learned from you. I understand. The question is, when these OGs say something, these are 2 examples of they got respect and people listened and the women listened. Should more younger talent right now either reach out to the OGs or tap into those that they have, because psychology can save injury, because if they tell better stories, you don't got to take as big of a risk. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and Kevin was talking about Rachel Rodriguez, and she really
Oh,
put.
I'm sorry. I said the wrong one.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
She really put Kevin over. Guys, I'm telling you, I remember being at TNA and being 5 feet from the ring and watching Kevin Nash. And I swear to you, Coach, when he would throw those big knees in the corner, I thought he was killing the guy. And Kevin wasn't touching him. And I was just watching a match with an old match from Attitude Era with Big Show. And JR keeps selling. They can't get him off his feet. They can't get him off. That was a thing with big men. And that was his advice to her. And she really appreciated and she really took it. You know, Coach, here's the problem that I think we run into. When you criticize for the better, people really have a hard time of looking in the mirror and being honest. My biggest complaint about wrestling is when top guys go in the ring and they're punching like mamby-pambies. And I'm telling them that for their own good, because if you're a casual fan, you're sitting at home and you're saying, really? That's supposed to hurt him, a rabbit punch to the back of the head? So when I say something, I am speaking for those without a voice. And sometimes you just need to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Maybe I can do that better. Let me segue to AEW because I think that's where you're going next. Tony Khan. I keep reading on my timeline. A lot more people are putting AEW over. And they're saying, I don't know what it is. It seems to be getting better. There seems to be a change. I pointed out, I read an interview by Tony Khan a couple of weeks ago, and Tony Khan basically said, I'm sick and tired of listening to everybody else. I'm tired of listening to everybody else's ideas. Now I'm going to do things my way. And I applauded that because that tells me in his 4.5, 5 years, whatever it is, Tony Khan has learned. And he has learned what is working, what is not working, who to listen to, who not to listen to. Because I'm telling you, Coach, I've always said this, as great as a lady as Dixie Carter was, that was her downfall. She never learned from her mistakes. So they were repeated over and over and over again till eventually it put her out of business. And I knew it was going to happen. I think Tony Khan has learned, is learning, and from what a lot of people are saying, that AEW product seems to be getting a little better.
I think it's getting a lot better. And admittedly, because of my new radio show, I have to watch shows every single night because it's a daily show. With that being said, I'm so glad that you brought that up because so many fans love to look at Tony Khan like he is Vince McMahon. And if we think back in the same time frame when WWE was 5 or 6 years old, you don't think Vince was doing every single thing and listening to all the different voices in his head because he didn't know which direction to take the TV product? Of course that was happening back then, but there wasn't social media. There wasn't the attention. There wasn't the TV, all of that. He went through the same thing, Vince, but it wasn't on Front Street, and he was not a billionaire when he was doing it.
Right.
So now I think the next thing Tony Khan needs to do is put really smart people around him and not marks and not somebody who's his best friend in a senior VP role. And just because that's what I do is here at BT, I go, I need to work with really good people. And when I started doing that, all of a sudden my shows got better. Everything got better because I put better people around me. And I think, to your point, it's working. I think he's also understanding with the Hangman Page decision. Sometimes you just give the fans what they want. You don't have to outsmart things. And for Hangman Page to win this weekend, that's what everybody's talking about. You got now a baby face who is now the face of AEW. And I think that's going to take them in a whole new direction because of that one decision. So I applaud everything you said. I applaud what Tony Khan and AEW are doing.
I want to ask you this real quick, Coach. For somebody that's been watching more of it now, what are you seeing that you think is making it a better product?
Well, the work rate is really, really good. And I want the OGs, no matter where you're at, go work during the week. If you're not going to do house shows, go work during the week. Also, I think the character development. I feel like when I watch, whether it's a tag match or whatever the case might be, other guys are trying to get other guys over. I feel like there's more backstage segments with multiple guys doing interviews. I think they're trying, and this is one thing where they could really use you. And I don't say this because you're my good friend, but they had a segment last week where they moved from one locker room and they moved into another locker room with something written on the board. Remember we used to do a lot of that where you have multiple people?
Yeah.
They're really hard to do, and it's hard to do it in one take. They're starting to try and do that. And that to me is so much more interesting than just standing there and doing an interview and tossing back to ringside. So there's a lot of things. But I think the characters are really, really good. We only have a couple of minutes left in our show here on Stadium. So as we look forward, Vince, we're less than 3 weeks away from SummerSlam. Do you think WWE will do what you launched at the beginning of the show and throw everything in the trash with all these injuries and say, let's just start fresh and see what we can do?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because here's what it always comes down to, Coach. Money. They're making money hand over fist. So somebody there is going to say, why try and fix something that's not broken? And in this case, nobody's telling you to fix anything. You have an injury. You've got a major injury that you've got to plug up. So nobody's saying change anything because it was broken, but a change is necessary. I am just afraid, since business is so good, Coach, they're just going to go the safe route. And I would just love to see the WWE do something for once that is not safe and is not textbook.
And is not going to appease every single advertiser that you are bringing on board right now.
Right.
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 Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right Congratulations, Maybelline, the first cosmetic show. I couldn't even get that out. I never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd see the day. First ever cosmetics company to be the main sponsor of a PLE. I mean, it's history, Vince. It's history.
Hey, listen, man, I give them credit. I give them credit. Whoever came up with the idea to go after Maybelline, good for you. More money in the bank, Coach.
More money in the bank.
Yes.
Naomi, let us know if they take that out of your check.
Yes.
We just really want to know. Vince, another great show by you. Do not forget that as we move forward, if you guys want to be on the show, if you want to be on video, you have that opportunity. Go behind the turnbuckle, or you can go to my X page, and there is a link there. And for our recordings, if you want to, you can come on, small nominal fee. You can argue with Vince. You can argue with me. You can cut a promo. You can change storylines. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can be a part of that right here now moving forward with Coach and Bro. That's going to do it for now. Do not forget, we are back Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube page. In the meantime, enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling for what it is. Just simply wrestling and entertainment. For producer man, for my man Vince Russo, I am simply the coach. This has been the Coach and Bro Show. As always, right here on Stadium. Have a great night. All right, you crazy kids. Let's get to all the super stickers one at a time. And Vince, apparently some of these people want to be taken right to the front of the line. The first one is what do you call it? They're curtain jerkers.
Curtain jerker, mid-carder, and the main event. Main event.
All right, so we're starting with the mid-carder. I like mid-carders. That's what I always was in the ring. Maybe more of a curtain jerker. He just says great show, guys. No comment other than great show, guys.
Very nice.
Straight out of Jersey.
Joe's he's a Paisan, Zapata.
Right. So here's the deal, Vince. I believe this is Joe shooting his shot. So I just did Joe's podcast last week. And do you know who told me his number one on his wish list is moving forward?
He's already contacted me.
Are you doing it?
Yes. We're working out. We're working out a date. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying you're working out the details. Which is
I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this, Coach. He wrote to me and he told me what Coach's rate was for the interview.
Whoa, rate. Wait, what is this?
What I did, Coach, was I took the rate, and you know what I did? I added time to it, Coach. I one-upped the coach. I said, Joe, if he gave you this for that, I'm going to give you that for this. I one-upped the coach. How about that?
You negotiated against yourself.
I did. I did.
I'll give you 90 minutes.
I did, Coach. I did. But let me tell you why. What
is that?
The last name ends in a vowel.
So he's a Paisan.
That's why, Coach. Yes.
There's always a hook, baby. There's always a hook.
Yes.
All right, we've got another mid-carder. No, this is a curtain jerker. Your man, Jimmy Fingers, always weighing.
Yes, Jimmy Fingers.
Did either of you watch the Tony Storm Mercedes match? I did. If so, did you see Tony get her face on Mercedes Poo-Tang Pie? So I actually, I don't know if I would have called this match, Vince, what or how I would have sold this particular move. There is a guy on IG, people that put themselves at the top and then the video at the bottom. There's a guy that I like very much. I think he's very funny. And I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to discuss people, but I laughed for minutes when I watched him describe this move by Tony Storm on Mercedes. Do you know the move they're speaking of?
Yeah, it was all over my timeline. Yes, I saw it. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So this particular guy's, oh no, she's, I can't even say it.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
She's eating snack. I can't even say it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it. But my point is, I don't know that I've ever, if we go from the move, I don't know that I've ever had a talent then in the press conference thank her opponents, and these are her words, not mine, for being very detail-oriented, and the lips, all four of them, were very clean.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
If she was trying to be cringe-worthy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yes.
And
Very
Tony
nice.
Khan sitting right to her right. He probably didn't even know what she was talking about, to be honest with you. But my God, I mean, if she wanted people to talk about her match, that one move did it.
And I'm certain that will make castrating the marks this week, so I will be able to see that press conference. I'm sure that will be on there.
It was a can't miss press conference, that's for sure.
Isn't it just something, Coach, in this day and age, when you do have a character, how much you stand out? Isn't it unbelievable how much you stand out with a little bit of character, man?
I would be the tough thing is though, Vince, is that if you're an up and comer or even somebody that doesn't want to lose their job, they don't want to risk it, so they
That's
don't go to where she's going. It's really hard, and I don't know if I would do it either. I would hope that maybe if I had a bunch of money in the bank, I'd been around for 10 years, I would try it. But it's hard. But she's fearless. She is fearless.
Yeah.
My man Top Dog, little curtain jerker, says, "Hey, what was it like working with Shane McMahon in the 90s and 2000s? I always heard he was one of the boys, and everyone loved him." Top Dog, you heard correctly. I trained with Shane. I worked with Shane a lot. He loved MMA, still does. Vince, I loved working with Shane, and I thought if he would not have been Vince's son, that from an entertaining standpoint, he'd be a top 25 talent all time.
Yeah.
He's fearless also.
Yeah, I love the dude. I mean, I loved everything about him, man. You know, he was on the same floor as me over there at Titan Tower, so I had so many conversations with Shane, spent so much time with him. I'll never forget, man, producing him the first time he ever appeared on television, and he blew it out the water. And I just knew, man, I knew he was going to be great on screen. He's such a good individual, man. He's such a really, really good man.
He really is. So thank you for the questions today. Sometimes you have a lot, sometimes you have a little. This is, though, and we've got another one from Jimmy Fingers coming in right now. This is, without a doubt, the highest live audience, Vince, we've ever had for a show in the history of Coach and Bro. And it's not
You know what
close.
that goes to show you, Coach? And I always make this correlation. This is what it goes to show you. When there's something that people are interested in, they're going to watch. It's not just by chance. There was a lot that happened this weekend. There were a lot of headlines this weekend, and look how many people we got watching the show. That's what we say on a weekly basis.
All the time.
If we can get that every single week, you and I would be ecstatic. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to promote.
I would love nothing more than to do an entire show just about things that we loved about what happened that week.
I agree.
That would make my day.
I agree.
My God, would make my day. All right, Jimmy Fingers, he wants to be a mid-carder. He wants to come out at 9 p.m. Eastern time. He says this, AEW always has good pay-per-views. TK just has a tough time parlaying that momentum into weekly TV. He also needs to stop trotting guys like Wheeler, Yuta, Danny Garcia, and Darby Allin as top guys. Not believable. That's an interesting take, Jimmy, because there was one thing that happened last week, Vince, as I watched every single minute of Dynamite, did not watch Collision. I said to myself, there's no way on a tape show that anything's going to happen on Collision that affects All In.
Yeah.
And I was right.
Yeah.
But on Dynamite, they had a guy who did a 450. Have you ever seen a 450, Vince, that wasn't a finishing move?
No.
2.5 somersaults and landing on the guy, and it didn't finish him.
Yeah.
I still have an issue with that. Really, if you're gonna do something that dangerous, it's gotta be for the win. It's gotta be for the win.
See, two things come out of what you're saying, though, Jimmy. Very interesting when you say Tony has a hard time piling the momentum to weekly TV. That's the nuances, man. Those are the little things. That's why I think it really pays off to be a writer, because when you're missing those little things and those nuances, it's hard to collect the dots. And also, you know, Coach, I want to throw this back at you, because when you talk about guys like Wheeler Yuta, Dan Garcia, and Darby Allin, listen, Tony has done this. He books the guys he likes and the style of wrestling that he likes. Coach, I got to throw this question at you real quick. And guys,
Yeah, of course.
any last minute super stickers, feel free to throw them in while we wrap up. Coach, this is where I always run into a problem with trying to understand Tony Khan. The guy's a billionaire. You and I will never understand what it would be like to be a billionaire. You and I would both know if we had a wrestling company, it would probably be due to other people's money and other people's contributions. And you and I would know our ass is on the line every single week. So with our ass being on the line every single week, we got to deliver. And how do you deliver? We got to get as many people to watch this show as possible. That's where our mindset is. That's what you got to do. Money is not part of the issue with Tony Khan. He's a billionaire. For all we know, Coach, this could be a tax write-off for his old man. So with that being said, if Tony Khan is writing a show that he likes and he enjoys, and it's not about the almighty dollar, is he doing anything wrong by booking wrestlers that he likes, which may be putting a pigeonhole on his audience? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes, there absolutely is, because you want to play to the masses. And right now, they don't do that. I think they're getting better at it. But sometimes the hardest thing to do, Vince, is to move yourself out of the way. Tony Khan thinks because he's been a fan since he was a little boy, and they love to throw the pictures of him at WrestleManias when he was a little boy with Dad, that he is an expert in the business. He thinks since he brought in Jericho and Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they have some of the best minds in the business, which they do. But the one mistake that he has made is he's allowed the boys to book. And I don't care if you're talking 1983 or 2023 or 2025. The boys will always be the boys. Yeah. And the boys know that if they get booked and they're bigger and better, their paychecks are bigger and better, which means they're never going to book for the masses and make the best decisions possible. He's got to figure out how to do that. Yeah. And that is sometimes taking yourself out of the equation and just standing back and say, yes, use my money here. Experts, go. He hasn't done that yet. Yeah. He's there. He thinks because Vince sat at Gorilla for all those years that he should sit at Gorilla for all those years.
Yeah.
And maybe because he's such a nice guy, maybe he needs somebody that's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point, Coach. Yeah. 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 Well, I don't know.
You got to have an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can be an asshole.
I don't know about that, Coach. You know, you show off those pearly whites, Coach. The a-hole goes out the window. You know.
You don't know how many times I've heard that from the ladies. We have a curtain jerker from our man XMinty619 from the San Diego. I would vacate the briefcase and have a Money in the Bank rematch at SummerSlam. Vince, your thoughts on that?
That's not a bad idea because, I mean, we all know they need content. And if some type of a tournament or something can eat up some TV time, that might not be a bad idea.
Or what if you booked one-on-one Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman does a backstage segment tonight because we only have two Raws left before SummerSlam. So today is the 14th. So as I look at the calendar, you have the 21st and the 28th. That's it. So there's 3 Raws before SummerSlam. What if you just shake it up and you just say, because we've seen in the past factions that fight within the Judgment Day. By the week, you never know if Finn or this guy or Dom or whatever. Do you think if they had a title to fight over in Judgment Day that they couldn't figure that out? That'd be amazing content. So why can't we do that with this faction? I think that would be more entertaining than a ladder match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Coach, I think the answer to a lot of that stuff is, and I hate to say, but I think it's the truth. Man, I think they just don't know where to go with stuff. That's why I think they just play stuff, safe and drag things out because I think at the end of the day, they don't know where to go with certain angles.
What are you talking about? Sometimes you say things. Did you not hear Alexa Bliss? She knew at least 18
Exactly.
hours in advance that she was going to
Exactly. Yeah.
participate.
Exactly. Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, she's still over like Rover.
Yeah.
Did you see the ovation that she had at Evolution coming out with Charlotte? And by the way, can you book a smaller if you're having an all women's pay-per-view? What's the one thing you don't want to happen? Fans touching the women when they're walking down the aisle. That
Yeah.
aisle was about 8 feet wide.
I hate that. I hate
I
that.
hated it. So they had this little shtick with Alexa and Charlotte bickering coming down the aisle. The problem was that all the fans had their hands
Uh,
reaching over and
yeah.
they were in the shot. So they couldn't even stand there and do their shtick because people were touching them. And I was like, how is this the setup? And the
Yeah.
same was the night before, but you had a bunch of men and they would just walk through the hands. You can't have them patting the women on the back and all that crap. You
But
can't have that.
that's a great question, Coach. How is that the setup? I would love to know the thinking and the psychology behind that. That's a great question.
You can take one less seat. What
Yeah,
am I
man.
saying? That Vince, that would be $10,000 from every row if you took a seat
Yeah,
out.
yeah, let's not get panicky. Let's not get
Let's not
panicky.
get
Yeah.
crazy. But let's say in a perfect world you did take one seat out and you move the things back about 3 feet. That changes everything.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
felt like this. It just felt
Yeah.
like everybody had to walk down an aisle just like this.
Yeah.
It was not good. But Alexa Bliss, I will take everything I said back. That young lady is still over like crazy.
If we keep going on, we're eventually going to break Jimmy fingers, Coach. Just so you know, if we keep going on with the show, go ahead.
I hope he's got the black card. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Coach, Tajiri misting you came up by a feed the other day. You don't get enough credit for selling. It looked like you got shot with an
Oh,
elephant
God.
gun.
I gotta watch that. I did not see that. I've got to watch
You've never
that.
seen this?
No, no.
Little backstory because me and Tajiri had I don't know, it had to be a 5 or 6 week storyline. Crazy, I know. It culminated with a big pay-per-view victory for your boy at Backlash 2000 whatever. And two things I'll never forget. We were working with the great Dean Malenko, and we were at the training facility, at the bottom of the hill in Stanford,
Yeah.
where they would have that ring set up. So I remember walking in, and I said it to Jerry, who was in the United States for 14 years, and for 14 years had everybody convinced he understood no English. Let's stop that for a second.
Yeah.
Now, I remember looking at him, and I said to him, "Hey, to Jerry, as long as I get my shit in, I don't care what else happens." And he looked right at me and he goes, "You have shit?" Dean Malenko, in classic Dean Malenko fashion, said, "Oh no, he is the shits, the drizzling shits." And I went out there and I dominated Tajiri for 12 solid minutes.
Wow.
And the other day was the anniversary of my match with Tajiri. But that particular, so all the wrestlers were hanging out in a locker room. So Tajiri had them convinced the next person that comes through the room, he was going to miss. Well, in that role, I was an authority member. Okay. So they're all sitting there waiting. And when I watch it, I have it's a little bittersweet because one of the guys I used to have as my muscle was Garrison Cade, who has already passed away years ago. So I see it and I see him every single time. I was like, damn, we had such a good time. But I had to go out. I bought, I kid you not, 8 of the most generic, cheap shirts that you could possibly buy at like a Dollar General or something.
Yeah.
They were yellow, orange, anything that would show the mist.
Yeah.
And we had to shoot it 5 different times. So I had to wash the mist off
Oh,
5 different.
gosh.
It must have taken us 2 hours, 3 hours
Yeah.
for that damn thing.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because it lives all these years later.
I'm going to watch that this week. I'll critique it on the next show.
Can you put it on Castrating the Marks? I just want to be on there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Matt, a new name in the sticker category. You are a mid-carder. Love the show, guys. Do you think that WWE already low-key owns TNA, similar to how WWE owned ECW back in the day with nobody knowing?
This is why I love these guys pitching in. I love questions like this. And does that sound that far-fetched, Coach?
No. And here's why I say that. I work with Nick Nemeth on Sirius. And Nick is a part of the TNA Brain Trust. And not only does he wrestle, but he's pretty well up there. He said they're getting ready to announce, and they don't have a TV deal yet. So they have an app where you watch their stuff. Okay. He said that they are pretty close to announcing something, but whatever that something is. And if TNA up until this point, Vince, does not have a TV deal, then why would it change now unless WWE is somehow involved and help them get it?
Great point. Absolutely. The WWE name helped them get it. Absolutely. Great
Years
point.
ago, Vince gave hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And this is where a lot of TKO can understand. Vince gave Paul Heyman and ECW millions. Why would he do that? Because Vince understood the more wrestling there was out there, the more interest they would have in it, the more money he would make with the WWE.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Apparently, Jimmy Fingers does have.
Yeah, he's back. I saw another one.
He has a black card, MX black card. You are the man, Jimmy. Alexa is helping Charlotte get over. If Charlotte added more Ashley into her character, she would get more over organically. That's an interesting take, and I agree with it. Charlotte, very low-key, Vince. She slapped a few hands coming down the aisle on Sunday at Evolution. I think at her core, she knows she only has a couple of years left, and she doesn't want to be hated anymore. And why would she? Do you agree with that maybe a little bit?
Listen, Coach, I was thinking about this the other day. Charlotte Flair, I mean, she's gone through a lot personally in her life. A lot. It could not have been easy growing up with Ric Flair as your dad. Then we know, her brother passing away was very, very, very traumatic to her. She's had injuries. She's had divorces. Man, she's had a really, really hard time. And I cannot blame her one bit. It's kind of like, Coach, she just wants to go out there and have fun. I mean, that's what I'm feeling. And I think she deserves it, man. She's gone through so much trauma in her life. It is time for her to have fun and enjoy the business.
I think that line that you said right there should be something. I would love it if they brought all of the talent into a room. And we would do this periodically. But I think right now that it would be a great time to bring everybody into a room and say, listen, this business is supposed to be fun.
Right.
And we've talked about it on the show that I can't remember the last time I laughed out loud. Yeah. I can't remember. And yes, it's supposed to be conflict. Yes, it's supposed to be all this drama. But man, we used to laugh. All the stuff I did was comedy.
Oh,
it was all, I mean, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold. It was comedy. And because it was so the opposite of what you were used to.
Yeah.
My God, it was fun. And I think to your point, I've known Ashley since, oh my God. I mean, Vince, when we used to go to Japan, this is a true story. They would have other little trips from Tokyo. So there was one time where Rick, I was the only person that he trusted. And so she was not allowed to go out. And she was only maybe 16, 17, but other countries don't have the hardcore check your license at the door at the nightclubs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so she was only allowed to go out if I was there with her. And so you can only imagine a 17-year-old Ashley Flair in Tokyo, Japan. Coach, please let's go out. Please let's go out. Oh my God. But she's been a sweetheart. I adore her, always have. And this is also a life that she never wanted.
Yeah.
When she was in high school and college playing volleyball, if you would have interviewed her, she would have been like, no, I don't want to get into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And then she realized she was like made for it.
Yeah.
And, I wish that she could have fun these last few years, whatever that is.
I agree 1,000%. Yeah.
All right. Cujo, you're the ultimate curtain jerker. He says, Russo, C-Buff's record this year, Coach, unblock me from X. Then you must have said something stupid if I blocked you on X.
I'm the same way. When people tell me that, Coach, I'm like, I blocked you for a reason. So come clean with what you did, and then we'll discuss it, right?
I used to just mute people, and then I stopped worrying about how many followers I had. Because people that use the mute button, they're like, I don't want them to know because they still follow me. No, I'm in a world now that I have enough followers to do what I need to do. And so, Cujo, I don't hate you. Thank you for watching the show. But if you say something stupid, I don't want you in my feed ever, because my feed is only there to push stuff out. You know what I mean, Vince? I don't
Yeah.
use it like a lot of people is to make money or anything
Yeah.
like that. I use it to promote our
Yeah.
shows.
Right.
So you say something
Absolutely.
stupid, and we get paid to give our opinion. I
Yeah.
love when people say, "Vince, Coach, you're a washed up has been," or "Coach, who asked you your opinion?" Well, the bosses at Sirius Stadium,
Yeah.
PGA Tour,
Yeah.
the PFL. Need I go on? Yeah, you suck. Yeah, all five. I suck at all 5 gigs that I have on
Yeah.
national networks. Or 3 of them are on ESPN. I mean, I don't like to give my resume, Vince, but sometimes you need to.
Sometimes you gotta, just to set the record straight, Coach. Yeah.
You got to flex once in a while. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
So the you're an idiot because you just want WWE to hire you back
Oh
guy.
yeah. Yeah.
He will get blocked every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you say I'm an idiot and I want to go back to WWE, block. That's the
Yeah.
fast way. Test me.
Yeah.
Test me. I will block your ass. Now,
Uh,
if they're nice, Vince, I'll still do a mute once in a while.
yeah.
On
Once
IG,
in a
you can't
while.
mute them. Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah.
IG, it's block or nothing.
Yeah. I'm not on IG. I got to get on Instagram, Coach. I'm not really on that.
It's more of a picture video.
Yeah.
It might be good for castrating the marks. I don't know.
I got to answer Cujo because he says I never gave my buff prediction. 10 plus wins, Cujo. 10 plus wins. How's that?
Well, I can tell you this. Deion Sanders, who, by the way, is on leave of absence right now. I don't know what his health issues are, but he has not been around the facility as of late. Speaking of 10, have you seen how many guys have you seen get hired and within 2 years they go from their base salary of whatever it was, like 3 or 4 million? He just got a bump to $10.5 million a year.
Who's that?
Deion Sanders.
Oh, God! I didn't even know he got that much.
Yeah, which means
Wow.
that he is bringing in so much money because a buddy of mine used to coach in Colorado up until he was part of the previous coaching staff.
Yeah,
one of my best friends in the world, and he kept saying we have no NIL money, we can't get players in here. It's always a big issue. And Deion's come in, and what has he brought with NIL money, stars, celebrities, cool factor, and all of a sudden the school is making money hand over fist. So in order to keep him, they had to pay him what he would make as an NFL head coach to not go to Dallas.
Yeah, and Coach, let me tell you something, man. That's where CU has kind of become TKO. You cannot afford to go to a Buffs game since he took over. I used to go see the Buffs every single year. You can't afford to buy a ticket anymore.
It's that expensive.
$500 for a college football game. That ain't happening, Coach. That's not.
They're the TKO of the Big 12.
Absolutely, yes.
Wow. The face of our brand, and she is a major premium member, Kimberly. She goes, that's why he continues to build the brand. He's that bad. Kimberly, I'm not quite sure what that means. Producer man told me to read it.
Interesting.
And I value you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means.
Yes.
But you know what? We will leave it. All right. Producer man. Oh, sarcasm.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yeah.
Oh, the rolled eyes. See, producer man understands. Producer man understands the emojis that go along with it. Me and you just are like, what the hell? Okay.
My eyes are so bad. I'm so old. I can't even see the emoji, for crying out loud, Coach.
Do you know how many times I do this?
Yes.
I cannot read the chat for nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes.
Sometimes in the morning, I have a big screen next to me here, and we're I have the morning show on Stadium. I mean, who doesn't have a national show in the morning in over 100 million homes? But on my big screen, I can actually read the graphics. So sometimes I'll be like this hosting the show because I can read here because I can't read here.
Yeah.
It is so sad.
Yeah.
I hate my eyes getting over. I'm not getting older. My eyes are getting older. There's a big, big difference. Jimmy Fingers officially has just set the record for the most stickers in one show. He says, Vince, thanks for taking Rafi Devers off our hands. How's that been working out for you, Vince?
A lot of people are laughing at Rafi, pointing fingers at Rafi. I will say Rafi is playing hurt. He's got a back issue. He's got a groin issue, but he's playing every single day. I think after this all-star rest, Coach, give him 4 or 5 days off. I think we're going to see a renewed Rafael Devers after the break.
I think you may have buried the lead because we were wondering if Jimmy Fingers had a black card, which on American Express has no limit. He went down to $2.
Okay, so he's got
I'm
one.
wondering we might have hit that limit.
Yeah,
we might have hit the limit. Yeah, I don't think it's a black card.
But he is a rock star. He is a rock star. So we know he's got some cash.
Okay. Well, he spent plenty of it today.
Yes.
Do not forget that we are starting something. We're just kind of easing into it. But if you guys want to come on the show, I mean on video, there it is. You can go to our X page. You sign up. Then in the next show, you will get to come on at the end of the show. And I want you to brag to all the people in the chat that you got to come on the show on video and tell our boy Vince or myself why you don't like a take, cut a promo. Maybe it'll be your big break. Who knows? Maybe Vince will find somebody that is so talented that will bring him on the show from time to time. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're unlike the WWE. We're pivoting. We're evolving.
Always.
We're adding content for people to enjoy themselves. But I've seen a lot of people that have gotten gigs over the years in the most unusual places.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yes.
All right. Cujo says, I deserve the X block, but in 2017, forgiveness, please.
Oh, well, okay. So he's owning up to it. Long time ago, Coach. We've had, 8 years? Okay.
We've had 8 years for the block.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what we need to do. Cujo, publicly, if you put it in the chat right now, what your X handle is, I will go, and I promise you.
Awesome, man. What a man.
I will think about unblocking you.
What a heel. What a heel. Where's my boo? Hold on. Where's my boo? I got to boo you out of the building for that one, Coach. Hold on. Wow.
I love getting the boos. Oh, my goodness. All right, Cujo. I am nothing if not a forgiving man, and Vince Russo has softened me over the years.
Yes.
So I will unblock you, but I promise you come at me like that again, because Vince, I remember very distinctly, it was 2017.
Yes.
I have no clue what he said to me, but I know there was a lot of people back then, because we were taking SportsCenter and ESPN, we were taking it to WWE. And they accused me of instead of, hey, Coach, thank you for getting WWE on SportsCenter. I got, Coach, you're just trying to get back in.
Oh,
yeah. That's why I want to leave ESPN to go back to 52 weeks a year. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh, God, please.
So then I went back and had to work with Corey Graves, and that just told me.
Yeah.
By the way, interesting, because I put him over last week. What do you think is the real reason? Because last night, normally when you have a all women's pay-per-view, you have at least what's the financial cost for coming on, Coach? Well, a super sticker is 20. I believe it's 50. I
think he may be talking about what we've been promoting.
Yeah, I just said that 50. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. We thought about 25, but here's the problem: way too many of you would do it. Yeah. And we only have so much time in a day. So there's like 5 available per show, but we had to make it at a price that it wasn't too much. But also, it's kind of like cameos, Vince. My cameos are so inexpensive. I spend half my days doing cameos.
Yeah.
Do you know how many I have in my queue right now to do fantasy football lineups on July 14th?
How many?
Oh my God. I probably have 12 right now. Because I don't charge very much. I charge $50 for a cameo. Do you know a star of my caliber?
It's unbelievable. It's armed robbery right there, Coach.
Yeah. I set the record last year for most fantasy football drafts on Cameo in the history of Cameo. And it blew up. Everybody, Coach is great. I give it, I'll give like 5-minute cameos, 6-minute cameos. I don't just get on there and go, hey, happy birthday, click, $300. No. There are people that charge $500 or $600 and they'll give you like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
That's not doing Cameo justice. What would be your average length of time on Cameo?
Oh, I don't go anything. I make sure I don't go anything under a minute. Every cameo is over a minute. Everyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
I literally will take a a thing of paper and I'll write out all the teams. I have a hat, a special fantasy football hat, and I pull it out, right? And I do the draft order for all these teams. So now they can't move forward. I had remember a couple weeks ago I lost my voice.
Yeah.
I already had people booking them 2 weeks ago.
Oh
I
my.
had to apologize.
So you've got fantasy football leagues on hold and frozen until you do these cameos.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Because the reason they booked them so early, Vince, is because I only have so much time in the day, much like the opportunity to come on the show. And so fantasy football, you can do the draft up until the week of the first game. You can do it up till September 1st. But they need to make sure they buy it early enough that I have time to do it.
Yeah. Wow, that's
And it's only $50.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that's awesome.
it's the same as getting a steal.
Yeah.
I've always thought about raising it.
Yeah.
So what was I addressing real quick? Before
why
I got off on
why
the
we
tangent?
why we were charging $50, I think.
Oh yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
And we know there's this new thing called Gigaverse. We've been thinking about going on that. That's it's a same type of platform, but we decided to do it here. Bottom line is this: we listen to Producer Man, and we do what Producer Man tells us to do.
Yes.
So, and I'm telling you, we may do winners that we have like a really good one we like, put it off to the side, and maybe after we have 5 good ones, then maybe we give out a prize. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out different ideas here. Anything's on the table, Vince.
Yeah, let's see. But Coach, here's one thing though. They got to bring it.
You've got to bring it.
If they mamby-pamby it, bro, they got to bring it. They got to bring it.
Don't waste my time. Oh no.
Oh yes, Jimmy. Yeah, I'd love to have you on here, Jimmy. I would love it.
All right, so here's the weird part. A little awkward. We're at the end of the show. We're gonna do all these at the end. So, Producer Man, did he already do it, or do we save him for Thursday and have Jimmy Fingers be the first one for Thursday? Because I don't know how quickly you can make this happen. He's got to get a link, the whole thing. Hey, Jimmy, how about we do it with you on Thursday? We're already an hour and a half in.
That's the tease, Coach. The tease, man. The tease right there.
All right.
Yes, let's see
here we
Jimmy.
go.
I can't wait to see Jimmy, man.
We'll see Jimmy on camera Thursday at the end of our recording. You'll be our very first. Producer Man says Thursday bookings are open. We're only doing like 5 a show. We don't have time for any more than that. So if you want to get in for Thursday after Jimmy Fingers, I would encourage you to do it right now. The link is in the chat, in the behind the turnbuckle. There's the link. You guys want to be a part of it. There's no telling where we could take this thing, but this is where it starts. All right, Vince, anything else? Final take before we get out of here? And,
no, that is it, Coach. Great show. Cujo's back. We're not done yet, Coach. We're not done yet.
Who wins and what's the finish? 99 Coach versus 04 Coach. Well, 99 Coach had never even stepped in the ring yet. So I'm going to say 04 Coach. And I was shredded too, Vince. Did I tell you what I found the other day? Hold tight.
Go ahead. Oh, this is going to be that Coach, man. The coach, you know what the coach's moniker should be? The gift that keeps on giving. The gift that keeps on giving. Go ahead, Coach.
So I love doing the show. I could do this for 3 hours. Oh wait, we almost have. So the other day, hey, if they're going to be here, I'm going to stay here. I love this shit.
Yeah.
So I know you're a big family guy. Your dad's 93, right? 94.
94.
Just turned 94, right? And so every minute counts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I was at home a couple weeks ago, and my parents are moving into an assisted living place where they get to live on their own. Yeah. But they're getting up there. My dad, his heart transplant 7 years ago. How long can you live? With a second heart. Can you imagine having a second heart?
I can't. No.
So my dad has a second heart in his body, still going. So we were going through the house because I told my mom, you got to get rid of stuff. I literally spent the afternoon like tears, like something would hit me. Yeah. I was in all my feels. Yeah. So years ago, this was to Papa Coach years and years ago from his son. I wrote from his son, and we found that in my parents' basement. And yes, Dave Bautista stole my body for that action figure. And you can see where I signed it, Vince, to my dad, the
Yes.
Papa coach. How about that?
Yes. That
And
is awesome, man.
is that awesome right there? That is number 2,141 out of 3,000
That
right
is
there.
awesome. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Just found that. Just
Yeah.
found that. Coach talk Vince in the fantasy football league. Jimmy, that's not going to happen. Yeah, we're not doing fantasy football here at the show. Do you do fantasy football? Who
No,
wins
see,
and what's the
Coach,
finish?
they
99
know,
Russo.
like, they
Oh, look at Cujo.
yeah.
Does a tag team champion of the world beat a former world heavyweight champion? Vince?
Oh,
This
I
is
think listen, I think Coach destroys me. Coach is much better shape, a physical specimen, shredded. Yeah, Coach, I'd put you over.
I mean, this is 04 coach right here. That's
Tremendous.
04 coach. I mean, I was in such good shape. The reason this is so realistic, Vince, I'm just going to leave it right there.
Yeah.
It's so realistic because they started doing, where you scan the body. So
Yeah.
I tell people, I said, this was really me. They go, bullshit. That was, I said, listen, you walk in and they scan you
Yeah. Yeah.
to make it lifelike. And
Yes.
that's what came out.
Unbelievable.
This was what they came up with.
Yeah.
So I stand by it. I stand by it. I was bigger
Yes.
than Batista back
Than
then.
life, you were bigger than, Coach.
I
Hey,
was.
Coach, who was one last question.
Yeah.
Who was like your main trainer? Who trained you more than anybody? Was it Malenko, you said?
It was not Malenko. It was when I was in Stanford, it was Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Okay.
And when I was on the road, it was Chris Benoit, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
mentioned that. I think you
Yeah.
mentioned it.
But I did
This
a
is-
lot of training at home with Pritchard and Shane McMahon. A
Yeah.
lot of time with Shane. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how freaking different Tom Pritchard and Bruce Pritchard were, and they were brothers?
Oh, well, one is I shouldn't say that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I'll
It,
leave it at that.
it really,
It's
it really is. It
Yeah.
really is amazing because Tom Pritchard is the nicest guy you ever want to meet, man.
He's nice. He's patient. He's all
And
those
he's
things.
helped so many people. So many people he's helped in the business.
And never ask anything for it.
Never.
Other than just pay me.
Yeah.
Just pay me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he's I guarantee you, anybody watching right now, that probably 80% of the names prior to 2020, Dr. Tom Pritchard had
Absolutely
his hand in.
fair. Yep.
I would say.
Absolutely.
I would say that.
Yep.
All right, Vince, are we done?
I think we're done, Coach. I think we're done. Wrap her up.
All right. So we know that we're gonna have our first appearance with can't even call them fans, they're family. Jimmy Fingers, you're family right now. You're gonna appear on the show. If you guys want to be alongside Jimmy Fingers, make that happen in the next 3 days. In the meantime, do not forget, we would love your support. This show will air Wednesday night on Stadium, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We'd love for you to tune in there so we can get those numbers up because they are flying. We have a really good number there, but it always helps. So in the meantime, thank you guys so much. Cujo, even you. We're back in a good place, pal. We're back in a great place. You guys are amazing. You're helping the show grow. Highest live audience ever for Vince Russo, for producer man, Dirt Sheet Dan. I'm the coach. We'll see you next time right here on the Coach and Bro Show.